Hey, what's going on? So, I'm gonna say something real quick. It's a saying that I really like. My unmatched perspicacity, coupled with my sheer indefatigability, makes me a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor. If you guys know where that's from, that's what Emery Tate said, Andrew Tate's father, after he got into a fight or whatever, and he just demolished like 3 thieves as a chess player, right? So how does someone who has no fighting experience do that? Well, this guy, Emery Tate, regardless of whether you guys like Andrew Tate or not, I'll tell you what, his father was an absolute narcissist. But although he was a narcissist, he was an absolutely extremely capable man. And so how is it that someone is telling themselves something that may sound so delusional to someone? Of course it's delusional, because this guy was an absolute narcissist, right? He had a condition, like an actual narcissistic condition. It's a part of the brain that's weak, by the way. You can find people who are narcissistic and see that it's, genetically speaking, a part of the brain that lacks, and it's the most hereditary it's actually the most hereditary behavior, right? And so regardless of that, though, there's something, regardless of whether or not it sounds delusional, extremely valuable about affirmations like that, especially if you're someone who's extremely realistic with yourself, right? Because I think there's the opposite of people who are delusional. There's people who don't give themselves enough credit, and people who set their expectations for themselves too low. I included, have been one of those people. I've set, my father, for example, I mean him no, there's nothing like, I mean him no, I say it in a non-derogatory manner, but it is true that my dad always humbled me, so to speak. But even went to the extent to where I thought, and I was extremely unconfident about myself, because it got to a point where I couldn't be good at anything. I couldn't tell myself or brag about anything. And truly, to some extent, I agree with that mentality, because people don't know how good they truly are, because they're just thinking how good, like, you have to be realistic with yourself. There's always someone who's going to be better than you. But a positive affirmation will never hurt you, and it's helped me tremendously. That saying right there, my unmatched perspicacity coupled with my sheer indefatigability makes me a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor. That's something that I've been repeating to myself, and it's helped me tremendously. And I'll tell you what, let me give you a quick story, right? I'm not sure if I should have published this video by now. I haven't, about the importance of sales, right? The importance of sales for anything. And in that video, I gave a story about one of the salesmen at my company, and how she just absolutely killed it. Like, first call, fucking freaking like Wolf of Wall Street style, these are high ticket products, just right away closed that sale. I was like, dude, she is so good at that. She is so good. Like, how does she do it? I was kind of analyzing for a second, and I was like, I thought it was out of my reach. I created distance between that which I could be and who I currently am. But then I realized, to close that distance, and what you must do as well, is you must be delusional, because you realize that delusion, although it may seem like it's somewhere way up here, if you have expectations of yourself that are way down here when they should be over here, then you'll realize that delusion, it's what you need to be, at least to realize that you've been setting the expectations too low. Although you may not accomplish what, although you may not be accurate with the delusion, you'll certainly push your expectations. And I mean physically. I've told myself, one time I went in, right, my squat max was 315, dude. I one day just decided, you know what, fuck it. This was at the end of New Year's. Screw it. Sorry. Dang, I'm controlling that habit, guys. I told myself, I'm like, I'm gonna do 345. 1 rep at least. Let me try that. And I thought it was crazy. I was by myself at the gym. It was like 1 a.m., right? Or 12 a.m. It was at New Year's. I just went to the gym at New Year's because that was my way of celebrating, right? And I was like, screw it. This year I want to set high expectations for myself. Let's put on 225s on each side. Wait, 315 plus 225s. That's 365, guys. No, 375. So 375. My max was 315 before that. You know how much reps I cranked out? 4 reps. 4 reps. So what is that telling you? What are you doing? Why are you not setting higher expectations, dude? Like, sure, maybe some people have told you and society's told you, oh, you have to humble yourself. You don't brag about everything. Dude, go ahead and yeah, you don't brag about things, keep it silent, but don't mistake that with, oh, I'm not capable of this. You surely are. And the sad thing is that if you keep on setting these expectations too low, you're not progressing enough. You're not developing fast enough. Because trust me, there's new things that obviously just because you're good at something doesn't mean that you got it, right? But certainly you can get better way faster at a lot of things if you're just delusional with yourself. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's absolutely true. Because I realized that day when I did that squat that I was like, bro, my body is capable of pushing the limits which I had established for it. And I mistakenly, the opposite of delusion, I thought, I was delusional for thinking that I couldn't do enough. I did 4 reps. 4 freaking reps. How can I do 4 reps? I thought my max was 315. Dude, so I was like pissed. I was happy that I was pissed. I was like, this year is going to be an year of breaking expectations. And certainly it was. Certainly it was. This year I've realized, I think it was last New Year's, I've realized that, dude, me, and I'm sure you, have set expectations way too low because most of us aren't narcissists. I think it's one of the strengths about being a narcissist is that you set super high expectations for yourself, but somehow you end up achieving a lot of shit, like Emery Tate, for example, right? And guess what? He ended up creating amazing kids, regardless of what you have to say about Andrew Tate. Sure, his situation wasn't good. He didn't grow up in the right environment, but he certainly achieved a lot. I mean, there's no doubt about that. The amount of wealth that he's surmounted is crazy, and if you've seen his transformation, it's also insane. Why? Because he's adopted the principles of his father, who was delusional, but that delusion came to serve someone who wasn't narcissistic inherently, or maybe you could argue that, but either way, it helped him, and you can see the manifestation of that in his wealth and his money, physically, in every single aspect, right? And so I can't debate against that because what do I have, right? Like, I really can't debate about that. And so, you know what I did? I humbled myself in that regard, and I was like, let me just take that advice to mind. Let me start affirming myself that perhaps, yes, maybe my unmatched perspicacity coupled with my sheer indefatigability makes me a feared opponent in every realm he endeavored. Let me give that a try. I started repeating that saying to myself, and guess what? That salesman, which I saw last week close a sale so freaking easily, guess what I did this week? Guess what I did today? I practically closed the sale first try better than she did. And in front of the whole office, everyone was watching me make that sale, dude, in shock. And guess what? Spanish isn't even my first language. It's my second language. And I still fucking executed that call like crazy. So what does that tell you? You're setting expectations too low. Stop that crap. Set the bar higher. Okay? You're delusional about yourself being too weak, being too incompetent, because trust me, if you put all your effort out there, you're surely going to achieve way more than you have before. What the frick are you doing, dude? Get your act together. Start taking action, but also dude, cheer yourself up. You're capable of way more than you are. And so setting that affirmation, as cheesy as it sounds, as delusional as it may sound, you'll realize that, hey, it's not that delusional when I start actually, seeing progress with these words. Of course, because words, as I described in my first video, is the first action that you can take into, creating a reality, so to speak. But with that said, I've seen tremendous benefit. I think I even talked to myself, or I even made a video about how my life had changed recently. That was one of the first videos that I made in a while in the car, talking about changing your environment. But one of the aspects of that, it was that affirmation that I've been saying to myself. I feel like I have a much more accurate understanding of what I'm capable of, and I'm still superseding my expectations every day. And that's good. That's good, but gotta keep that same rhythm. Gotta keep setting the bar extremely high, even though I might not reach it all the time, because I think in the process you get better at reaching the higher bars, and you just gotta knock it out of yourself that stop tying yourself to the low bar and try to reach for the high bar, because eventually you will get somewhere in between. So with that said, affirmations, whether you believe in them or not, like, give it a shot, and there's nothing that can go wrong with that. Truly, I really don't think there's nothing, and there's too much downsides to setting the bar low than there is high. So don't let people tell you what to do. If people say, oh, you're too confident, you're too this, oh, okay, whatever. Obviously, you know, be realistic about what you're capable of currently, but do not shorten your potential about who you could be and what you could do. All right, so that's my message to you guys, and that's my story for you guys. See ya.